Hello, this is Omar El-Hamzawi and my partner Adham Ahmed, and we're doing a review of the movie called The Life of Pi. So, in The Life of Pi, the main character called Pi is basically a young man who survives a disaster at sea and is hurtled into a journey of adventure and discovery and forms an unexpected connection with another survivor, a huge Bengal tiger. Let's take a quick look at the trailer.
I've actually never read the book of The Life of Pi, but it seems to be an unclimbable book. So I certainly got interested because the fact that it has become a movie under Ang Lee's direction, and knowing Ang Lee, I thought this could go either way, but aside from a few hiccups. I guess you could call, that I will talk about. I thought Life of Pi was pretty amazing, actually. And it definitely gave me a lot to think about. And it gave me a lot to look. And I must say, this is one of those rare cases where a movie that really kind of promotes that spectacle and is sorry, I actually never know how to pronounce that word, but okay. In a way, a lot about the spectacle because it's a big 3D visual sort of thing. The big spectacle is on part, if not less important than the story and just the impact of the story and what you take away from it. And so that I think they did a great job. Like I said, I haven't read the book, so I couldn't compare it. But I mean, as a movie, it's pretty fantastic. So let's get a little more in depth with The Life of Pi, starting off with a pilot, which I thought was pretty ambitious and definitely very interesting. And I do have a very few things to say that are definitely spoilers. Sorry about that, but I just can't. So I'll talk about those at the end of this review. But for now, overall, I can say I thought that it had a lot to say, and it said it pretty well because I left the cinema thinking, and I'm still thinking now, and I'm sure that I'll be thinking about this movie morning, night, maybe for a month, maybe more, who knows, for a lot of time to come. So I like the characters because it wasn't the usual situation where the kid's religious and the dad disagrees. By the dad, this movie was kind of, in a way, supportive, but also trying to put his son in the direction that makes sense because he did not think that the way his son was going about religion made sense. And he wasn't like, boo on everything you believe, which I think is so much more common and it's like it was kind of cool to see something different. And the character of Pi himself, the way he looked, the way he talked at religions. I thought Pi himself was like a hero. I thought it was really interesting as well, and the way that they impacted his life on the way, it all wrapped up, and I thought this was really interesting and very unique, I would say. But all I can say is I really enjoyed all of it, you know. I do think I do think it got a little bit slow and the movie's not really long, but I think it could have been shortened a tiny bit. Just a little bit, you know, because people don't get bored and stuff. Like in the middle, a little bit shortened. But when he stranded at the sea a little bit, but for the most part, I thought it was pretty engaging and pretty exciting and very suspenseful. Suspense, man, suspense. But at the same time, exciting, enjoying. You want to know what's happening next. Like imagery's happening. The author put a lot of imagery for people to know what's gonna happen next. This was extremely interesting. It looked like a big blockbuster, but it doesn't really feel like one. It has kind of like the heart and soul of an Indian film almost. Or like as an Ang Lee tends to kind of a film full of art. And it's very strange, like very strange, because the combination was a little bit confusing. Now let me hand it over to Omar and see what he thinks about this movie. But like here, once again, I'm gonna say, you wanna go have fun, get some popcorn, go to the cinema, or sit at home on your sofa watching that movie. Cause trust me, it's not one you wanna miss. It's very nice. And Omar.
Thank you, Adham. So I'm gonna get started off with the visuals. Now, the visuals in Life of Pi are breathtaking. I mean, they're pretty gorgeous, and the effects I thought were amazing. I mean, obviously the tiger isn't real because, well, it was animated, but because of how amazing the effects take place, I thought that, there is a tiger on that boat the whole time. But I do have to say, as far as the 3D goes, and as Adham said earlier, I think that the impact of the story on everything other than the visuals or the spectacle, I think are better than the spectacle itself. And that might be because, I watched it in 3D, and the 3D was good, but I think I kind of detracted from it a little bit because it kind of felt a little cheap in a way, but not too cheap to the point where I thought it was a major fault. It was just that there was a couple of parts where like the aspect ratio changes to really make the 3D seem better because when you cut down the aspect ratio and you have stuff going outside of the letterbox, it looks as if it's coming out of the screen, and that's really cool. But at that point I was kind of more interested in the story than just like the 3D thrill ride aspect of it. So I don't really know how I feel about it 100%. And I don't know if maybe I would have preferred to see it in 2D, but it definitely was something to experience in a theater, that's for sure. Because it had the massive scale and it was a definite spectacle, but I don't know if it really took away from it to have so much kind of 3D in your face though. And acting wise, I think all the actors did a great job. I really enjoyed Erden Kufrin as older Pi, and as for younger Pi, as far as I know, this is his first movie, and I think he did a really great job. It felt a little bit, I don't want to say amateur because that's a bit negative, but it felt like it was his first movie, but in a way it worked because the character always was on zone, so like he was always concentrating, he knew what was going on, so it was kind of appropriate. And the other characters did a good job too, but they had a pretty minor role in this movie, and so I guess it's just Pi to think about. And I think overall he did a very good job in taking on such a role as a protagonist. So in the end, after watching this movie, I would recommend it to everyone, especially those interested into adventurous themes and all. And I'd probably say that this was one of the best movies I've watched this year so far, and it definitely beats many of the other movies I've watched like throughout my entire life, adventurous movies. Like, I don't know, Indiana Jones or other movies where there's adventures and characters and heroes. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.